Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inkwell Academy. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, thriller writer Donna Joppie. Donna is the author of the thriller novel, The Memory Trap, as well as various short stories. Thanks for joining us today, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on, and today I want to talk all about thriller writing with you. So, Donna, tell me, do you rely on real life research for your thrillers, like consulting with experts, conducting research in the field, or do you typically stick with your imagination?
You have to, especially when, such as my first and second book, their timeline is the early 60s. And a lot has changed between then and now. You
Hmm.
have different slang words, you have different technology at that time. And you also, if you're going to make your writing realistic, you have to have ground of true facts. So, yes, years of working and studying and talking and calls, reading are all involved in your books, should be in your books.
And I like how you pointed out the fact that it was a couple decades ago. And so
Yes.
you really do need to make sure you have the accuracy of that time period. And how would you say that you approach building suspense without overwhelming the reader or sacrificing character development?
To build suspense, first you have to get your reader to care about your protagonist or care about why something's about to happen.
Hmm.
Once you establish that, then you also can build what's about to happen to them. And you keep that two steps behind your protagonist, and such that you will have them doing this. But in the background, you're letting your reader know that this is going on and it's being planned against that person, or this dam is about to break and there's a crack that's forming. So it's the little subtle things that lead up to it, to when it finally comes, then it's overwhelming. What you really want to have your readers do is be clawing the side of the wall saying, look, turn around. And
Right.
that's what your goal is.
Well, that's great. That makes lots of sense to me. On the note of just while you're building the plot and keeping the readers guessing, do you use any specific strategies to keep them guessing while you're creating an unexpected plot twist?
You're doing the plot twist, you have to leave clues,
Hmm.
little breadcrumbs that you know what you're doing. And yes, you want your reader to read it, but then you don't want them to spend time on it. You think, okay, and you just go on. But that little incident or that little tidbit will play out in the overall picture whenever the event happens.
For action scenes, how do you ensure that they're both believable yet extremely thrilling for the readers?
Right. Well, we won't have a 110-pound lady like you carrying a 550-pound man up a mountainside. That's not realistic. I'm a visual person, and so in my head, when I'm coming to this type of a scene, I'm envisioning the whole thing in my head. What's possible? Can the body move that? A person actually do this? And all that comes into play when you're doing, because I have several. In this book, there is one quite distinct situation where my protagonist is fighting off several people. He's confined in a Mexican jail in the early 60s. And so you have to make that realistic, what how that would play out. And so I do. And then you rely on editors and you rely on your beta readers.
So, Donna, how do you manage pacing in thrillers, especially when alternating between high intensity action and slower suspenseful moments?
Not you nor I or my characters are just a cardboard figure. There are other things going on in their lives. And so, what you try to do is whenever you're building all of this up, you switch to that other thing that's going on in their life and you bring that up, which leads you up both of where they connect further down the line. So it's you go from a one viewpoint to another viewpoint, which gives you the reader a little breathing room, so it keeps them engaged as everything moves forward.
And I want to close with a quote that you have on your website that I absolutely love. You say, a great writer is an emotional recycler. No experience of pain, love, loss, joy, or grief is ever forgotten. Each is used and infused into the lives of their characters. Could you elaborate on how writers can apply this in their own originality?
Yes, nothing is wasted. We all go through challenges in our life. We all have different situations. I was widowed at a very young age and basically fell off the end of the world.
Hmm.
So I had to rebuild from that, the sense of loss, everything just, the depression, all of it that came with that. Then I've also had joy and I've had exhilaration. Then you deal with, I've raised 7 teenagers. So if you don't have no drama, you know drama when you deal with that many teenagers. So I've raised 7 teenagers. 4 were my own by birth, and then inherited the other 3. And trust me, it's much easier to give birth to them. But everybody lived. I still have my hair and teeth, and we all like each other, so it's all good. So take those experiences and transplant them in your storyline into your people. So when your character goes through grief or loss, you can pour what you felt into that. So it's not wasted, it's carried on.
Well, Donna, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on thriller writing.
Thank you for having me. It's been a joy.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
You can find me at my website, which is www.donnajoppie.com, or on facebook.com/Donna Joppie.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with thriller writer Donna Joppie. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.